أحد صدق الله العلي العظيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. You have come here because you want to hear about Allah. And I'm going to tell you about Marifatullah, which is the business of tasawwuf, and the affairs, the gifts, the lights that they come from here. You must know that the highest knowledge is knowledge of Allah. It's the highest. There's nothing higher than that. It illuminates every knowledge that we have of creation. It all comes from the certainty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, you can know about Allah with your mind, but you cannot comprehend Allah with the mind. Because Allah says, you cannot understand Allah with your mind. If you use every tree as pens and every ocean as ink, you cannot speak the greatness of Allah. And yet, Allah says, but you have the heart, and the heart of the mu'min, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, contains Allah. And that is extraordinary, that the heart can have such capacity. And it tells you something about who we are, which is different than what is presented to us. We live in the world of our nafs, but this world of the nafs is very small. This is the world that we can see, and what we can hear, and what we can touch, and what we can experience. But this is very small, thin part of the reality. Yet all our affairs happen in this realm, and we get stuck with it because it's so small. Every little change affects you and brings fear to your heart. When you are in need, you get attached to things in desperation. But this is all because it's a small world. You cannot deal with it, because dealing with these problems is nothing but enhancing this dependency of this little world. In order to solve the problem, you have to go beyond reason, beyond the nafs. And this, going beyond the nafs, this is the affair of tasawwuf. This is what this thing is about. Is to understand that there is a reality which is much larger than the world that we can see. And this is the reality of the unseen. Now, you can know about the unseen because you have read books and you know that there is Allah, and you know that there is meaning, the power and the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over everything. But this is what you know. But you can become also a witness To become a witness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means that you have to abandon these nerves and you have to leave it behind. And this affair is the affair of fanafila. Fana is the witnessing of Allah. Fana is the abandonment of the nerves. Is to shatter it, to obliterate it. The Sufis, they say, is to die before you die. This is the big affair. The way of suluk, the way of the Sufis, is to pass through a process of discipline whereby you learn about your nerves and you dominate the nerves, and then bit by bit you overcome it. But there is another way, which is the fast way. Is that you leave all that and you go straight to Fana. You reach Fana and then you deal with everything else afterwards. This is the way of my people. And the Shaykh of the Shaykh of the Shaykh of the Shaykh of my tariqah, he used to tell us, there are many ways in tasawwuf, but ours is the fastest. And the fastest means you go straight to the goal. Now when you attain that, you are a changed man or woman. Because when you have reached there, then you see. You cannot see Allah. But you have left the self. Knowledge of the self is knowledge of Allah. When you understand what the self is, then you understand Allah. When you can see yourself, and you can see it as something small, then nothing affects you in the same way. When the problem comes to the nerves, then you say, but this is a small matter. And then you can move on. This path is a path of makams. You arrive to different makams. You elevate yourself. When you go to the university, when you go to school, yourselves or your children, they teach them about this world. They make experiments and they deal with the reality of things. This is a horizontal knowledge. But our knowledge is a vertical knowledge. You lift up. When you lift yourself up, then you can see better. And then you can understand better. Then you make a first step, and then you occupy, you can see things around you. When you have done all that, then you go for more. Then you lift yourself up a little bit more, and then you see a little bit farther. And then you carry on. And this movement is the movement of the tariqah, traveling to Allah. Sharia is worshipping Allah. Tariqah is traveling to Allah. Haqiqah is witnessing Allah. The Sharia and the Haqiqah go together. If somebody says there is only Haqiqah and the Sharia doesn't matter, he's a kafir. If somebody says there is only Sharia and the unseen doesn't exist, he's also a kafir. These two things go together. One is a world of gathering, and the other one is separation. In this realm, we have codes of the things that need to be done. And you have to follow. And the people know what the Sharia is. The people of this country know riba is haram. There is not one person in Pakistan who doesn't know riba is haram. But you go out in the streets of Lahore and it's full of riba. Full. So how is it that the people dominate us? What stops us from freeing ourselves? And this is all the fears that they are built in the nerves. This society is run by fear. Like the West. Osama bin Laden is to produce fear among the Americans, so they pay more taxes. Al-Qaeda is to scare them. You know, it doesn't exist. Not everybody in Pakistan is a Taliban with a machine gun, but that's what they sell to their own people. They lie about Islam so that they can have power themselves. But in this society, they also scared you with their own ways. They tax you, even though there is no taxes in Islam. They're giving you a piece of paper that says 1,000 rupees. Although that promissory note is false. They're not going to pay you. Never. If you go to the Haram Central Bank of Pakistan and you say, give me 1,000 rupees, they don't even know what a rupee is. A rupee is a silver coin. So the people are running after pieces of paper that they have no fulfillment. These come from an institution which is 100% haram, which it doesn't exist in Islam. It was brought by the British to us. They said you have to have a central bank. If you want to be an independent nation, they said, you have to have a central bank, a national debt. You pay, when you are born, you have to pay the debt, the riba of this government. Even though you haven't agreed, nobody has asked you, but you have to pay riba, whether you like it or not. You have riba in your pocket, you have riba in your credit, you have riba in the streets. The controllers, the kafir have control over Islam, the lands of Islam, through riba. Riba is the big crime. But the people don't see how to solve it. Because they are looking from here. And from here, you only find yourself small, and they are big. But the reality is not that. This is false. This is an illusion. That's why the Sufis, they say this world is an illusion. There is another reality. And this is the reality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is in charge. He has declared war on riba. And he cannot fail. Do you think these banks will stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? They have no power whatsoever. The power is with Allah. It's la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There is not two powers in the universe. There is not the banks and Allah. There is only Allah. He has no companion. Kul huwa lahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad. There is no companion with him. But they tell you, these banks are powerful. They are all controlled by Ismailis. Kafir Ismailis. From the Aga Khan. They control 50% of the banks. And the other people are people who have sold their hearts and their soul for misery, for nothing of value. They say you have no power. You have nothing. Everything has to be decided by Nawaz Sharif. They have to decide. And some people think, mistakenly, that the day of judgment, you will be able to say, I was helpless. My party, my political leaders didn't allow me to do anything. But that day, you will have no bails. And you will see the state of fear that you lived in. And then you will be shamed and you will say, what happened to me? You gave me the orders and I disobeyed. I was scared. But we get scared when we live here with this thin reality. You must know that Allah has already defeated riba. It's already won. Nothing stands before him. What you see in front of you is a ruin. It's a disaster. It doesn't work. Look at your country. Despite the wealth, despite the many of you, despite the many years of running the affairs, poverty is in the land. The disparity between the wealthy and the poor is insane. Insane. The banks continue to rob you. This government continues to indebt your children. They're spending money they don't have, but they don't care. They say your children will pay. They have a debt this year of 1/3 of the budget. And nobody says anything. The other political parties, they cannot say anything because they don't know either. The people, they found themselves busy with their own affairs. The ulama, they have lost understanding of riba. Some of them, they have created Islamic banks, which is like Islamic whiskey. It's making riba halal. These people are worse. They have done what the kafir couldn't do. The kafir brought riba to our land. But these people, they have made riba halal. They are the worst of mankind. These are the ulama. And the Sufis. These are the people of Allah. They have decided what happened to them. They are busy with their circles doing dhikr. But they have lost the wine. The light has gone. You have to know that to bring the things back is in our hands. It can be done easily. The paper can go. And you have to ask yourselves, but if we get rid of the paper, what do we have instead? But many of you know the answer. Nawfal, you know the answer. What is the currency of Islam?
Silver and gold?
Gold and silver coins. And why? How they are called?
Dinar and dirham.
Dinar and dirham. This is the currency that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Quran. He doesn't say US dollar. And he doesn't say rupee. He says dinar and dirham. There is no inflation. One chicken at the time of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam cost 1 dirham. Today you can buy in Lahore 3 chickens with 1 dirham. 1,400 years later, the currency has improved in value. It hasn't gone down. But your currency has a 20% inflation every year. It's an insult on all of you. They are robbing you. Inflation is theft. It's theft. Don't you see that? Did you see it? It's important that you see it. I was with people when I entered into Islam, and my Shaykh sent me to Morocco to spend my first Ramadan in Morocco. He wanted me to be in the company, in a Muslim country. And my companion in the journey brought me to the company of a man called Muli Hashim. He's a Mushdud. He's a man who is attached, Jathba. He's attached to Allah. His vision is different. And when I entered into his house, we arrived and he was crying. And he was an old gentleman. And when he was crying, I was shocked as a young man. And I couldn't understand. Why is he crying? I knew he's a Sufi, so I thought it must be something really strange, because it cannot be a death. Because the Sufis don't cry with the death, they cry with the births, when the children are born, but not when they die. So what it is? And then I said, my companion who spoke Arabic, when he left, my companion told me, I asked him, what did he say? And he said, something very strange. And my friend couldn't really understand. And he told me a very strange story. He told me that he cannot go out of the house during the daytime because he lived very close to the marketplace. Because he doesn't want to cross the market. Because the people are dealing with money that it has riba written in it. This man saw, he didn't think, he could see riba was there. And because he's a Muslim, he took the strange decision to not witness riba. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the hadith, Rasul sallallahu said, there are who curse on riba, and he said the person who gives, the person who receives, and the two witnesses. You cannot even witness riba because there is a curse in it. You have to stop it if you see it. So people think he's mad, but who is mad? We who allow this thing to happen, the curse of Allah, or him. You have to think about that. There are people who can see, and there are people who cannot see. The people who can see, they will show you the path easily, and they will tell you this is the way, and they will be doing it. And there are people who just simply don't see it. It doesn't matter what they claim. If you cannot see, you don't know. You cannot say you know, but you cannot see. The path of the Sharia is easy, it's not complicated. You don't need to know Arabic. You need to know a little bit of Arabic. But you need to have a heart to comprehend the Sharia. Is to act in the Sharia. To know that riba is haram is not enough for you. You have to act. You have to want to act. You have to desire to act against riba. This is the wisdom. Not that you know riba is haram. And when you want to act against riba, even though you know you can't, your hands are small, but in your desire, you understand. And Allah gives you the way. That comes from understanding that even though our hands are small, Allah is powerful. Allah is powerful. And there is no doubt. We can do it. But not if we rely on ourselves. But rely on Him. This is not a religion of I do what I can. This is a religion of I submit to Him. Submission is wisdom. You bow to Him. In the act of bowing, you understand, you become illuminated. The more slave you become of Allah, the more powerful you become in this world. But if you attach yourself to the world, then the world dominates you. Without wanting it and without knowing, you end up trapped by it. Rumi, Jamaluddin Rumi, the great Sufi of Turkey, he said, you worship what you fear. You worship what you fear. So watch what you fear. And fear only Allah. Don't fear the things of this world. Because they will dominate you. Fear dominates reason. If you get a dog and you beat him up, and beat him up, and beat him up every time he tries to eat, he will be scared of eating. By fear, they dominate our mind. But you cannot cure fear with reason. You cannot psychologize reason. Fear. If you want to cure fear, you can only cure it with more fear. If you have fear of this world, then fear Allah more. Until the fear of Allah occupies your heart completely. And when the other fears come to you, you say, but I am full. I don't know where to put it. My heart is full. But you should be scared of this. I don't know where to put it. I only have fear of Allah. Then you can see, then you are free. Then you can see your central bank is a trap. You are not a free nation. Pakistan is not a free nation. You will be a free nation when the riba goes. When the central bank disappears, then you will be free. There was no central bank in Medina. There was no banks in Medina. There was no paper money in Medina. But there was gold and silver. And there was a wadiya. A wadiya. Wadiya is the safekeeping in Islam. You can have accounts with a muwadi, but not with a banker. Wadiyas, not banks. The difference between the wadiya and the bank is that the wadiya doesn't lend money, doesn't borrow. Borrowing, the credit and the money are separated. You cannot put it in the same institution. We have a model. And you think it's difficult? Is it difficult to use a gold coin? What can stop you from using this gold coin in the shop of your friend? When you give him the good news and you tell him, let's get out of riba. We don't do it because we love gold. We don't care about gold. We don't worship gold. We worship Allah. And Allah says riba is haram, and we move out of it. What can stop you? Nothing. There is no power in the world who can stop the people of Pakistan from saying no to this. Except reason. These intellectuals, these academicians, who tell you inflation is good for you. They say taxation is good for you. Robbing you is good for you. They lie. They lie. They lie about Allah. They lied about you. They lied about the world. They are scared. They have no wisdom. They have no light. The reality of the nafs is where all these things happen. It's that little world of our doings and our provision and our jobs. And then we live there. And then you want something. But this thing that you want, it doesn't happen. Because what you want is not going to happen. And then the people get frustrated, and they get depressive, and they get down. But you must know that what you want is not going to happen. What Allah wants is going to happen. So want what Allah wants, and then you will be satisfied. But when Allah takes something from you, say Alhamdulillah. If Allah takes one leg from you, you say thank you Allah, I didn't need that leg. And if Allah gives you a third arm, then you say thank you Allah for the new arm. That is wisdom. And then you can act. You know what Allah wants. He has said it to us clearly. Eliminate riba, he said. Riba has to go. He's entrapping each one of you. And your friends, and your father, and the people you love. And the people of your village, and the people of your town. Is entrapping the good nation of Islam. And we have to get it out. The kuffar have said that riba is good for people. And they have written books. They have a science called economics. And we send our children to faculty of economics so that they can earn money. But there is no a science with more lies than economics. And then you have pseudosciences of finance. And we send our kids to learn finance so that they can become men of this world. You may just shoot them in the legs. They have rationalized the evil. But that's not straight. You can rationalize everything you want. Hitler rationalized genocide. You can rationalize everything you want, anything. Murder. You can say there is far too many people in the world. Let's kill some. That's reason. Reason is not the foundation. Yet, the people demand reason. Why is riba haram? They say. And I will tell you why. Because Allah says so. That's my reason. And why He says so, it doesn't interest me. I will follow Him. So that's what I say to all these economists. I said, you are against Allah. You lie. You have no idea. There is no minister of finance in this country who hasn't gone to a faculty of economics. And yet, you don't understand. And people vote for them. They have a signs of evil. And we have a faculty of Islamic economics with Islamic banks and Islamic stock exchange and Islamic credit cards and Islamic insurance. They have a bank, we have Islamic bank, insurance, Islamic insurance, stock exchange, Islamic stock exchange, paper money, Islamic paper money, inflation, Islamic inflation, Islamic national debt. What do you think they are doing, these people? They said, we are renewing Islam, rejecting it. We are renewing Islam. This is what Jamaat al-Islamiyya did. Maududi, he came, he said, I have to renew Islam. We have to adapt it to the new times. But they didn't change the economy to conform it to Islam. They changed Islam to conform it to the economy. They have changed Islam. Who do they think they are? Do they think they can do it better than Allah? Do they think they know better than Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? What kind of fools they are? All these people supporting Islamic banking, they are fools, charlatans. You may say they don't know the Sharia, they know the Sharia, but they don't know their hearts. The problem is that they don't know their hearts. They want to be practical, they say. They say the gold dinar is not practical. What is practical is the US dollar. It's like the person who's in prison and you open the door and they just say, but I don't want to go outside. I don't know anything out there. Here I know everything. I'm fine. I have my meal every morning. This is the state of these people. They are not wise people. They have no wisdom at all. But do they teach wisdom in the faculty, in the University of Punjab? Go and see what they're teaching. Accounting. Look at the accounting. It's to serve the industry of evil. Become accountants for a bank. Is that what you want your children to become? We become a block, a brick on the wall to fit into the system. That's what they want us to be. But we say no. Our knowledge is no. No to what is. No to the illusion. Because these set of relationships and powers, as they present it to us, is false. It's an illusion. Don't live in that illusion, but trouble. Trouble to Him. Go to Him. Lift yourself from the carpet so that you can see the patterns. If you live in the carpet, you cannot see the carpet. But when you elevate yourself, then you see. Then now I can see. That is knowledge. And what you leave behind is the world of the nafs. And then you lift yourself up so that you can see. And when you don't see far enough, then you lift yourself a little bit farther, and farther, and farther, and farther. This is this affair. The unseen, the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over everything, including ourselves, doesn't blind us from our duties with the Sharia. we are the first in the defense of the Sharia. This is the people of knowledge. But the affairs of the Sharia doesn't blind us from the affairs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the people who only see haram, 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 they end up doing Islamic banks. They want to become practical. They say, but we have to concede. We have to compromise, they say. But you cannot compromise with the halal. Can't you say, oh, this is only a little haram. It's 50% haram only. Or they say, it's less haram than the other things. What is that? What is that language? Where does it come from? It's not for us to decide. We cannot make the Islam that makes us comfortable. Islam is not to make you comfortable. Islam is to teach you, to lift yourself up in the land. But you cannot live in the Islam that I am comfortable with, and the other things I don't want to look at. Because the things that make you uncomfortable in the Sharia is where your wisdom is. The things that they are difficult are the gift for you, so that you can learn. If you find it difficult to fight against riba, do it stronger. But don't start cleaning your shirt. If you know, but look, I am doing this thing right. Leave your shirt. Leave the small things. Fight the big things first. When your house is in fire, you don't go and fix the windows. When your house is in fire, you stop everything and you go and suffocate the fire because it's going to consume you. And the fire of this time is riba. That's why I'm fighting riba. I don't do it because I want economic progress. I do it because I love Allah, because I fear Allah, because it's all it matters to me, because I'm not here to please anybody except Him. That's why I'm not scared. That's why you will hear from me that this central bank that you have is haram. And when I say it, the people get shocked. And the paper money that you have is haram. It's a cheat on the people. And I said it in the universities, and I said it to the ulama, and I say it to you, and I will say it to the Prime Minister, and I will say it to the Pope. Because they cannot stop me. Because I don't see any power in them. Because they are miserable, and small, and rotten. I care for the people who love Allah, because they are my companions. And with them, I travel. This affair of riba is an opportunity for you to come closer to Allah. All of you want Allah. I can see it in your eyes. You want Allah. Then fight. Do you think you can get the things just sitting down? Move. First with your desire. Want to fight. And then Allah will show you the way. Desire is in your heart. Have the desire, and then the knowledge will come to you. And you will know what to do. And when you do, then you have triumph. Because what happens is not your affair. Victory doesn't belong to you. Victory belongs to Allah. Our job is to serve. Our job is to say to the world, this is not allowed and I will stop it. This is our affair. What happens belongs to Allah. The end of riba will bring prosperity to Pakistan. No doubt. But prosperity will not make the people here any better. Like money has rotten the Arabs. They have less iman every generation. They have lost what they had. And prosperity will make you worse people. What do you think? Poverty is a blessing from Allah. That's why I'm in this nation. I'm not in Dubai. Because there is helpless. But here there is misery. And when there is suffering, the people will understand and they want Allah. And we will cure the suffering. And then kufr will return, like has happened to the generations behind us. One generation goes up, and the next, and then it goes down again. I come from the land of Al-Andalus, in Spain. It was the highest of Islam at the time. When they had nothing, they were great. When they were fighting for Allah and dying for Allah, they were great. But when they amassed the fortune of the world, and they had all the knowledge of the world, they fell, and they lost it all, and nothing was left. The world is the way Allah wants it to be. It's perfect. We don't understand His justice. We complain helplessly. Why don't you make Pakistan like America? People say. They are fools because they've never been in America. You don't want to be with these mad people. Your friends who are there, they want to come back here because they are mad. You don't want anything of what they have. Poverty is a blessing for you because you can act. And this is what we have here. To bring the golden era, we do it because of Him. To eliminate the banks, we do it because of Him. We act because of Him. Because He is our only horizon. He is our only reality. Everything else is wahm. It's an illusion. The money that you have is an illusion. An illusion. The US dollar is an illusion. Toshiba. It's an illusion. It's a green piece of paper. Mr. Obama, who is a blessing from Allah to all of us. Not because he's good, because he's an idiot. He's more kafir than you can dream of. He has printed so many dollars that he has doubled the national debt of the Americans. Since this young fella has come to power, around 25 trillion US dollars have been created out of nothing. Printed money. They give this paper to the world, and we give them oil. We give them industries. This government is saying, we want foreign direct investment. Please buy our factories. Please come here and buy our lands. But they don't pay them with gold. They pay them with paper. And they are so fools. They want the paper. And I say, no. Give the paper back to them. If they want the paper, give them all to them. We're ignorant and backwards. We keep all the gold. Let's see who wins. With this 25 trillion, they can buy the GDP of Pakistan for the next 50 years. That's why they don't invade you. That's why they don't have the armies here in Lahore. Because they don't need to. They can buy you. They can buy anything they want in Pakistan. Anything. It's just not worth for them buying it. What is worth for them buying it, they already bought it. Or they have the people they love to buy it. They buy the media so that they can, the television, so they can tell you whatever they want to tell you. And the newspapers, so they keep telling you the lies. The people cannot see. But if you want to see, you don't need reason. If you go to the faculty of economics, you will not learn, you will not see. You will not see what I'm telling you, and what you can see from my words. If you want to see, you have to look into your heart, and to remove all the fears. Taqwa. Taqwa is wisdom. And people say today, but I already have taqwa. And they go and run to the banks. They don't know what taqwa is. Taqwa is tears. Tears is wisdom. And nobody has acquired knowledge of taqwa without being broken. You have to be broken. Only then the fear of Allah is in you. It's not an idea in your head. You think, oh, I have fear of Allah. Fear of Allah must broke you. And when you are broken by this, then you have understood. And then you look at the world and nothing scares you. Then you are free, and then you can see. Then you can see that the people are being cheated, that you are being cheated. And then you come together and you can act in the name of Allah. Follow Him. Trust Allah even if you do not understand. Trust Him. There is nothing in this world with guidance without Him. Trust Him. Follow Him. If you do not understand, don't bother yourself. Act, and then you will understand. Act, obey, and you will understand. Submit, and then you will understand. Use a gold coin, and you will understand. Establish a wadia, and you will understand. Establish a souk, and you will understand the way of our people. Muamalat is all open and clear in Medina. The currency that they use in Medina, the souks they use in Medina, the caravans they use in Medina. And the people say, but now we are sophisticated. We have malls and Tesco and hypermarkets. And we start building hypermarkets so that Lahore becomes a modern city. But the people of the West are saying, Tesco is destroying our towns. And there are movements in Britain against Tesco. But if they come to Lahore, the mayor of the city and the governors, they come with a red carpet to these people, please give us your investment. Enslave our people. And there will be two alims there reciting Quran to make the Tesco to be blessed. This is ignorance. There is no wisdom in this. There is only fear. So if you want to learn, you need taqwa. And if you want taqwa, you have to desire it with all your will. And when you desire it with all your will, it will come to you.
Salam.
The way of Allah is not difficult. The way of this world is difficult. What Allah has ordered is not difficult. What Allah has made haram is difficult. The life of kufr is difficult. The life of Islam is easy for people. But they say the opposite. They lie. Putting the things right is like swimming in the current of the river. One straw and you can advance 10 times. What they're doing is going upstream. To make the things bad, it takes them a long time. But for us to put it right, it's fast. Some people say it took them 300 years for riba to be established. It will take us 300 years to take it out now. It will take 24 hours. When the light comes, the darkness disappears. It's not enough to know. You have to be able to act. And to be able to act, you have to be free. And to be free, you need marifatullah. And if you want marifatullah, you need fanafila. Fanafila is the big affair. You are here because I believe you want from this drink. You do, don't you? Is there one who doesn't want it? And if you stay, you will drink from it. And some of you will reach high stations. And when you reach there, then you are free. And when you come back, then you are a witness. You can speak with authority because you can see. And the other people say, but how did you get out of river? As if it was a mystery, as if it was something complicated, as if there is no way out. Some people even say there is no way out. They say, but we cannot do without the river, we will die of starvation. Pakistan will collapse, they say. Pakistan has already collapsed. But they're scaring the people. But when you witness Allah, you witness yourself. To travel to Allah is not to travel somewhere. You don't have to think about Allah as if it's an idea. The more you do that, the more you stay. You cannot understand this way. You travel to Allah by leaving something behind, by departing from. You depart from the nerves. You leave the nerves behind. And that's how you achieve unveiling, kashf. You leave it behind. You see it. This is the world. This is my little world. My tiny little thing. I can see something higher and bigger. And when you do that, then you have acquired wisdom. When you come back, you can see and you can act because you are free. And when you mention the name of Allah, you do it with authority because the witness is stronger than the person who knows. If you have witnessed a crime, you have authority to the judge, not the person who has heard about it, who knows about it, but you are a witness. The doubts disappear, uncertainty is built upon you. The science of tasawwuf is ilm al-yaqin, certainty. We don't have opinion. La ilaha illallah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. How certain are we of Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel? 99%. There's no 99.9%. There is only 100%. And from there, you can see farther, like in concentric circles. You build up. Now you say, I can see now. I can see. And from there, then you go up again, so that you can see more. From certainty, you see. And the illusions go away. The little fears disappear. The little dragging into something disappears because it's small. When your enemies attack you there, it doesn't affect you because it's small. Evil cannot affect you when you are high. But when you are down there, when you live in that plane, everything affects you. Somebody blows like this, and you are scared already. But when you understand, if somebody hits you there, you go to the other side, it doesn't matter, it's everything for you. One of the big shuyukhs of my tariqah, they said, to the men of Allah, their enemies cannot harm him. Because there's nothing to get. They have nothing to take. Because he's not there. Because he doesn't belong. This is the ultimate wisdom. This is what you want. You want that. And today I'm here to make you thirsty. To want it is. Because desire is the condition. And those who have most desire will come first. And I will take you there. So that you can be free. And that you can act. And then some people have said to me, but we need thousands of people who know about this. And I said, no. Few are many. Few are plenty. Few who have the heart are plenty. Medina was very small. An insignificant part of land, in a lost land in the desert. And when they were there, Rasul Sallallahu wrote to the emperor, and he said, you either enter into Islam, or we are going to conquer you. It's like Sialkot declaring war on China. No, Sialkot is too big. And a small village in Punjab declaring war on China. Because they were different. The reality was different. They saw themselves as powerful. And they saw them as small and tiny. Unless you acquire this, you will never be free. You will never be able to act. The banks are small because they are rotten. The money is worthless because it's a piece of paper. We will give the people something good. But when we bring them the Sharia currency, we don't do it because it's good for the economy. This is like saying the prayer is good for your kidneys. You pray because of you love Allah. And we do the golden Arabic, so we love Allah. And they say, why do you want to bring these gold coins? Because Allah mentions them in Quran. Allah has blessed these coins with mentioning in the Revelation. And this is who we are, and this is what we do. This is our affair. Trust Allah, love Allah. And when you think you have arrived somewhere, love Him more. Go further. For there is nothing of arriving in this affair. There is always more and more and more. One more, desire more. And then you will get it. It will come to you. This is the affair of Tasawwuf. This is the affair that it will bring the people back to Islam. This is the affair that it will stand from here to India. This is the knowledge that it will give us back India. It belongs to us. We are not two nations, we are one. The capital of Pakistan must be New Delhi. Partition is only chapter 1. The affair is not finished. Our brothers are still waiting for us to liberate them. They are being oppressed by these monkey worshippers and elephant worshippers, these thugs who have no wisdom. We have left them behind, and we have to bring them back. But how can we fight? The people will come, the people of India will come to us when they hear that we have good news. When we bring a city, not a country, a city, the city of Lahore, when we free it from riba, the people will see and they will say, this is the deen of Islam. And they will want to join in like they did in Arabia. Islam is a liberation. To eliminate riba is the war of liberation. It's the true war of independence. And when the people see that, they will come to us. And they will come from India, they will say, we want this, bring it to us. And this is how we will bring them in. This is the way of Tasawwuf. This land entered into Islam by the Sufis. Because they don't judge the people. Because they don't use the Sharia to keep the people apart. To tell them, you are haram, you are haram. They use the Sharia to free the people, to bring them in. Because the judgment is for themselves. The Sufis judge himself. And that's the way. This is the affair of Tasawwuf, and this is the matter of Marifa. There is no higher knowledge than Marifa. You must have it. And the only condition to have this knowledge is desire. And you have to desire it with all your being. Like I did. I left everything to be with my Shaykh. I lived with him for 25 years. I clean his house. I cook his meals. Because I wanted it desperately. This is the affair of the big people. You have this. This is your potential. The fact that you're here today, instead of watching cricket, I'm sure there is another match on television tonight. It's because you want something else. This is a sign that you are different already. And you have come to me. There are other people who will give you things more comfortable. You will have a little bit of vigor, go back, and that's it. But there are Shaykh of Barakah, and there are Sheikhs of Tarbiyah, of instruction. There's many Shaykh of Barakah, but there is very few of Tarbiyah. When you find it, hold on to it. Because there is nothing more precious for you. Everything can be done. But not by our capacity, by His capacity. Tawakkal is the science of abandoning the affair to Him, the abandonment of the management of your affair. Trust in Him, and then you act. Trust in yourself, and you will be paralyzed. Don't trust, don't look at your hands. They are small. It doesn't matter how big your mouth is. These are still small. But your heart is immense. And He is powerful. So we do it because we trust Him. We follow Him because He has commanded this to us. And then you become the elite of this world, the Muslim. And this is your great triumph. Islam is your triumph, is your treasure. Don't take a little bit of Islam. Don't be mean. Get the whole of it. Take it all. The things that are easy and the things that are difficult in particular. Learn from the difficult so that you can be elevated. Keep the company of the people who speak about Allah. Because in listening to Allah, you are reminded. Keep good company and act. Whatever you know, act upon it. And then more wisdom will come to you. And then with more wisdom, act a little bit more. And then you get more, and so on. It's not something you memorize. It's not enough to say riba is haram. It's not enough. You have to act. And if you don't know how, find the people who are already fighting and keep their company. And you will find the answers that you want. If you want to become a fisherman, keep the company of the fisherman. If you want to become a carpenter, keep the company of the carpenter. But if you want to become a carpenter, don't keep the company of the fisherman. Because they don't know how to teach you. You will not find answers there. They already don't know. Keep the company of the people who know. And then you will be elevated. And above all, trust Allah. You have seen things tonight, but there is more. And we will have dhikr the way you want dhikr. And then there will be dhikr, which the Sufis call, we lock 7 doors and 7 doors. And this is the way to create the walis. This is the way of fana for the elite, for the people who want it so desperately. It will all come. So I ask Allah to bless the people of Pakistan and to restore the light to this land and to bring the people of knowledge out from their places and teach the people the way of Allah. To give the ulama the courage to speak from what they know, to bring the people out of the miseries into wisdom, to let the people have the desire of knowledge of you. Oh, I ask Allah to bring this land and to return to this land, the Dar al-Islam. A Dar al-Islam that will go from the lands of Afghanistan to the last pieces of India, and from here to bring the light to the rest of the Muslim world. I ask Allah to see us the establishment of Muamalat, and to bring the dinar and the dirham and the souks and the caravans and the guilds and the way of our people, the way without river that has been the triumph of our people in the past. And I ask Allah to grant us triumph in the next world. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun al mursalin walhamdulillah.